and this is my very new canning closet, a fit-for-purpose closet to hold all of my produce that I have been preserving. Something that fits my space and might have some details that would work well for you. Since moving to Kentucky 3 years ago, our garden has continued to grow and produce more and more, and with that, we have been canning more and more produce. After every single nook and cranny in our cabinets and other pantry began to fill up, I needed a new place. So enter this canning closet. But before I detail how it currently looks, let's go back to the beginning. And this is the closet that we are going to turn into our canning storage, or our canning closet pantry, as some people call them. And it was filled with a whole bunch of junk that I have cleared out. And when I first thought about turning this into a canning pantry, I went online, posted a quick video asking for recommendations, and had a lot of really good ideas, some of which I had thought about myself. This is a really weird closet, weirdly shaped, especially for canning, in the fact that it's 28 inches wide, but almost 4 feet deep. And if you look online, most places recommend that your canning shelves be about a foot deep, maybe just a little bit deeper, because you can lose stuff back in there. So you want to have it shallower. You want to have your shelves not be super tall, so you can maximize the space. People recommended maybe doing something that was like a U-shaped style or an L, but here's the problem. This closet, like a lot of things built in my house that were not built by me, are not built well. The drywall in here is super questionable. Trim on the floor has a massive gap, like, I don't know, measure. At least try to caulk it and hide your mistake. This is a piece of trim, and this is drywall. And the biggest kicker of all in trying to actually build something substantial in here is the fact that there's no stud in the middle of that wall. They're not 16 inches on center. As I said, it's a 28-inch wide closet. There's a stud on the corners to attach the drywall to. There's nothing, absolutely nothing in the middle. And that presents a whole lot of problems with building shelves that are strong enough to hold canned goods. Because canned goods, they're hefty. But I think I have a solution for it that will work for the time being. It may not be the end-all permanent solution. Maybe eventually I will convert part of our crawl space, which is a very tall crawl space, into a canning area, or even some sort of root cellar. I've got some grand aspirations for that, but that's in the future. Now we're going to go with something that will work for the time being, will help clear our cabinets and the clutter of all of our canning supplies, get them into one central location, and maximize the space that we have. First, let me paint the janky closet to make it look a little bit better. And with a little bit of paint, I think this closet looks a whole lot better. And because of the kind of structural bones of the closet being questionable at best, I'm not going to be building out anything into the closet. It just didn't make sense. But what I am going to do are put in some wire shelves. Much like the shelving unit that I have here where I grow all my plants, one will be going in there. And I couldn't really find anything that was perfect, of course. It's an oddly shaped closet. I found one that was 24 inches wide and 18 inches deep. Most of them are just a foot deep. I found one that gave me a little bit extra room, that 18 inches. Then with those wire shelves, the shelving units, you only have so many shelves that they come with. And a lot of the times it's near impossible to find extra shelves. So what I'm going to be doing is Frankensteining together 2 shelving units to give me more shelves, more closely spaced, to maximize the area. And I did a little bit of math, and I think it should be totally fine calculating the weight of a quart jar full, how many quart jars can fit on a shelf, and the total weight rating of the whole unit of one unit. I think I'm gonna be well within the margin of safety. So let me get to Frankensteining these together, getting everything spaced out, and see how it looks. And hello, welcome to a more present day me. Now that I've got my shelves all filled and everything built, I'm going to walk through some of the details in my canning closet. The first one being that I added these little mats here for the cans, because I didn't know if the wire racks, if they would jiggle around. These mats were supposed to be fit for this rack, or so I thought. They required some modification and cutting, and I wish that maybe I hadn't purchased them. They were kind of expensive for what they were. I probably could have got by with maybe some cardboard. The rack is anchored in 3 different points in the back, so it's not going to go anywhere. Up top I have some storage, and it just really surprised me that once I started filling out this rack about how much empty space I have, so I can really step up my game next year. I installed these baskets right here. Up top I have extra canning lids, and then these plastic lids for when storing things like dried herbs or mushrooms, when I make my fermented products and put those in the fridge. I have 3 jars here of dehydrated peppers, my little canning accessories and utensils here. This right here is a paper towel holder that I have mounted to store all my extra rings. Once I built all this out, I realized that I did have some extra space up top, so I added this shelf right here that spans the whole distance. Nice way to put this big giant canning pot up here. I have this food mill tucked up in here, and then lots more space, and I'll be putting things in here that are canning and food preservation related. Speaking about food preservation related, let me flip this around. I also have some butternut squash and acorn squash in here as a place to store those. This crate will probably be filled with sweet potatoes, and may even have a crate that will have to sit on the floor as well for sweet potatoes, because I have an abundance of sweet potatoes. That video is probably going to come out next week. But I am very pleased with how this whole closet looks. Oh, and this closet didn't have a light. I added this light right here, and this light comes on whenever I open the door. It's got a motion sensor, which is really, really nice. Provides just enough light to light up this space. Needless to say, I'm very pleased with how this turned out, and it's a good place to store all of my canning things. And as I grow as a canner, I'm definitely learning a lot. One thing being these peppers in this quart jar right here. Do you know what the problem is with peppers in a quart jar? I'll give you a moment. Maybe you can write it down in the comments. This is something that I learned after canning these peppers. And this is something that will divide a lot of the canning community. There is not a USDA approved recipe for canning peppers in a quart jar. Not to say that I can't say that this isn't necessarily safe, but it has not been tested. It's just saying that because of the density of the peppers, the acidity, that they haven't tested, and there's no time that they give for the water bath canning to ensure that all of the potentially harmful microbes are dead, inhibited, and nothing is going to happen in here. I am trying to stay away from what is called rebel canning, using non-approved recipes. I'm sticking with things that have been reviewed and approved by the USDA and other government bodies. And that sometimes gets people all worked up. They say that canning has been going on for centuries. No, it hasn't. Look up the history of canning. It's relatively new in human history. And there are some potential concerns. Yes, maybe once you master certain things of pH and processing times. I do have degrees in biology and chemistry, so maybe I should feel a little bit more agency to do things that aren't approved. But I'm going to be sticking to those approved canning recipes. What do you think? Are you a rebel canner? Do you stick to the approved guidelines and recipes? Let me know in a comment below. Let me know what you think about my canning closet. Until next time, my name is Tyler Lloyd, and I wish you the very best. See you later. Bye.